Now, if we really wanted to get delusionally bullish, and what are the probabilities of this bull flag playing out? Well, you take the pull, you slide it all to the breakout point, and then we're all at 115.1. Now, 115 would be pretty exciting. Obviously, new all-time high. Would everyone be losing their SHIT? Probably not. Let's put that in there, 115. 115K. I'd be excited because next stop after 115, well, of course, it's 120. Lord love it if she didn't do just that and more. Look at this. This is the crazy thing about these astrology for men. When you really think about it, this range here where we said, I put this range in way back here saying, you know, we really got to be in this channel of ascension, and it's the red one, so it doesn't really matter. Boom, we went all these years, everyone fell asleep, everyone took up macrame and karate and the trombone, and then we come back here and look at this. We respect it to a T. Ting, we hit it as that's support, now acting as resistance. And we've come back down. What a massive, massive, massive pump we had. Everyone should be excited. Everyone here is excited. Is the normies excited? No, they're still asleep. On the daily chart, you can see we also respecting this channel of ascensions. Support now acting as resistance. We have broken into it. So you can see if we want to put, what is this heart here I put on? This is where I'd be super bullish, 123. Well, it's there. We can keep watching it. So we're in this channel of ascension. We have to go till we break out. Will we break out at 128.6? I think so. On the weekly chart, this is the big one, because we've been in this channel of ascension since we kind of hit way back here at 93K. Bingo, bango, bongo, up and down and out. And then we got back into it. Now it's following this little yellow doodle that I put in a while. We're a little bit ahead. You can see it's 117K-ish. And here we are at 117K-ish. Lord love a duck. Where's the price here? There's the price. 118. Oh, damn it. I was off by $1,000. Now, here's the big thing about this, this weekly chart here. If we make it like this is going to get messy here because we already got a lot of doodles here. In the most underrated doodle game in the business, you got an inverted shoulder. You got an inverted head. You got the inverted right shoulder. That is a classic inverted head and shoulders pattern. Now, let's see, get this thing here. Now, if we want to check the probabilities of where this price action goes based on this historic pattern, this inverted head and shoulders, you take the pole, you slide it all to the breakout point, which we are right now. And then we're all at 143K. Now let's put that in so I remember what the hell I was doing here. 143K. There we go. That's the next little target, 143K. That would be, would people be excited? We would. Would the normies be excited? Yeah, probably not. But who cares? Did they miss the boat? I guess. Maybe they'll come on later. Maybe they won't. What do you think, Drew? Do you think they'll come on or what? Or did they miss the boat?
It's such a painful thing, like seeing this. And first of all, that's absolutely insane that you see the inverted. I have not been looking at the inverted head and shoulders. But I've been watching his money flow and, Cypher B printing the green dot on the weekly back at about 85,000 bucks. And that target for me lands right around that $140,000 mark, bro. So I think that we're both looking at something pretty powerful there. As far as like normies, man, like, yeah, we do our best to try and like talk about, there's that biasy, that unit bias. Yep. And I knew it, like I had it in 2017 when I was a heavy metal musician, before I knew what Bitcoin actually was. Like, I was like, I don't have 17, 15 grand. Like, I'm happy. I'm so damn happy for you, for all the Bitcoin holders back then, that it went up to 17K. And then I started to learn about how it's divisible. And what I've started calling them is sats, or bits. I've been referring to buying Bitcoin is pick yourself up a bunch of bits, right? And then that's a way that I've found has helped me kind of start that conversation a little bit stronger with normies. But yeah, dude, I really feel like, the time where we printed that green weekly dot, I'm expecting a 60% pump from that moment, which lands us at that 140, $130,000 range. But we've had this same signal only go off 3 times since 2023. And, we are looking at down the barrel of what I called last night on the Mario show,
What's the
a
Mario show?
three-headed Mario Nafal. I host for Mario Nafal on X, when they have macro or Bitcoin, really urgent shows that they need to get out. So what I see here is you have two expected rate cuts from the Federal Reserve as things sit right now in September and December, but there is an October FOMC meeting that is neck and neck. It's like 42 to 43% on if there's going to be a rate cut or not in that time frame as well. So we are looking at 2 rate cuts expected so far. Definitely could see 3. And we're now seeing Federal Reserve members like Waller yesterday saying that we could even cut in July. And I don't think that's going to happen, but you can see the conversation is starting to open up. The doors are starting to open up to this. Let's go back to 0% interest rates, hyper risk on environment. And, I think a lot of people underestimated how much pull this fellow Pulte has. He leads up the Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, housing industry here in the United States. He called for Jerome Powell to resign, and he oversees what is $120 trillion market, which is residential real estate here in the United States. So that guy has way more pull and way more sway on the board of the Federal Reserve to actually get Jerome Powell out, get interest rates artificially low once again, let the dollar keep demising and the buying power keep going to zero, and kick the can down the road. That's the whole goal here, is to get interest rates artificially low so that they can keep their Ponzi scheme going. And I see even another way that crypto is going to be used in doing this. It's Scott Bessent, our Treasury Secretary, is just frothing at the mouth to use stable coins to buy Treasury bonds. This will give the Treasury the ability to print currency on top of the Federal Reserve. So if you think you've seen all you can see in terms of the dollar depreciating, hold on to your hats, folks. And that's the whole thing. It's like Bitcoin go up, yes. Also, dollar buying power go down, right? The monetary supply
Right.
just keeps expanding. So that's where the real question is: there a top to Bitcoin? I don't think so. And I'm actually looking at 170 to $200,000 still, for this cycle, ending Q4 of 2025 and or Q1 of 2026. Those are my targets.
Well, there is an elephant in the room that we have to address here because the question is, have we been duped by this administration?
100%. 100%. 100%. Not only did we not get Epstein files released, but we had the big, beautiful bill passed, which just will bring us over $41 trillion in debt, a spending bill to keep the government open. But the catch and the punchline to that is, but wait, there's 2 more coming this year, right? So we have 2 more gargantuan spending bills that are coming down the pike this year. Mike Johnson just whispered, he really quickly mentioned it as everyone's celebrating, all right, we finally did it. We got this huge $4 trillion bill passed. All right, guys, there's 2 more coming though, so I'll see you soon. Right? That's basically how the conversation is laid out in the government, and there is no monetary responsibility, coming in to save our dollar. There is no reasonable, actions that can be taken by the Federal Reserve, the Treasury, and or the president. it's a guaranteed demise of our buying power, our ability to pay for things. And the real crazy part is a lot of people are expecting houses to collapse in value because inventory's going on, but our government's just been printing money using even our own tax dollars to artificially keep houses off of the market. So, it's a collapse up. And the middle class, lower class that are asleep at the wheel, that aren't paying attention to Bitcoin, that are surging into Taylor Swift searches when she gets control of her own album instead of surging
The
into
important stuff,
Bitcoin
yeah.
research. Yeah. I mean, these are they're going to get left behind, dude. And that's all I can do is do my best to teach, but this time of ranging that you just showed on the graph, we were talking about it before the show. It was extremely boring, and it bored a lot of people into submissiveness. And really, in that time frame, when I was coming on your show a bit ago, you remember I was starting to trade with a little, tiny little bag. I started like $400. It was like a fraction of a percent of my portfolio. I've grown that to now 30% of my portfolio can be made up in the gains that I've made on trading just in the last 6 months. You know what I mean? So um, it's been very eye-opening for me. And what I'm doing is I am basically operating off of the goal every week to gather between like 1 to 3% of a Bitcoin. If and then I'm not leaving it in Tether. I'm actively buying Bitcoin with those winning trades and just continuing to stack. I don't care if it's 100. I don't care if it's 200. My goal is always going to be to stack at least a few percent of Bitcoin per week, because all this is opening up basically a black hole of finance where all eyes are going to go to Bitcoin and AI. And we know that the monetary system is not going to fix any of the problems that are causing the money supply to expand. And for God's sakes, get the fuck out of fiat. Like, I don't know. I want to shake people that are on the outside looking in. I'm like, yeah, because I have friends that hit me up and they're like, oh, it's Bitcoin. It's crashed a little bit, and it gets aggravating. But I just do my best to teach people on the outside looking in still. But it's tough. It really is tough.
It's a double-edged sword because on one hand, everyone here, we're essentially preaching to the choir, but it will be very sad when this ship sails and it's just basically fiat slavery and those with
Mm-hmm.
Bitcoin exposure on a whole different arc and trajectory with their life and family. And it's getting that serious now that it's actually scary. What I've noticed too, and this was bizarre. I did a video yesterday that got banned, right? It got
Mm-hmm.
banned because I used I think it was a banned version of Jeffrey Epstein's Cribs. They actually did a Cribs, an MTV
Oh
Cribs
my God.
on Epstein. So what I've noticed is that when Trump was riding high, didn't you notice that the algorithm was a little more lenient? You could almost say whatever
Right.
you wanted. And it was like,
Right.
man, we're living in freedom. This is amazing, right? And then as soon as the
Absolutely.
tide turned and everyone kind of shifted and realized that maybe we've been duped once again. And like if you
Mm-hmm.
go into comment sections, man, it is just nasty. People are they fed up. They went from, this is the greatest to this is the worst overnight, right? So you go into the comment sections,
Yeah.
which I spend most of my day if I'm ever doom scrolling. But what I've noticed is now that it's negativity, the algorithm's back. And so I've had, someone might say, well, you got a copyright strike. Listen, I get copyright strikes every week for playing music at the piano bar. It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
ban the video, right? So now
Right.
we're talking about this Jeffrey Epstein thing. The video was banned and there was nothing I can do about it. So,
Mm-hmm.
maybe I was pushing the envelope, but 6 months ago, we could preach about the Epstein list.
Right.
Now, I mean, who knows? We'll check this video even by bringing it up again. But man, are they getting roasted in the comment section? Like even like Carolyn Levitt, is that her name? Carolyn Levitt.
Yeah.
The
The
prom
press
queen of
secretary.
this administration. She You muted yourself. Anyway, I'll continue. Just know that you've muted yourself or phone back. She's getting so roasted like I've never seen before. Usually, you know, when she would have a press conference, you would see nothing but accolades. Oh, you're the best. This is the best. You know, I'm so optimistic. And now she just gets roasted. And so does everyone. Like even when I see a post from Kash Patel or Dan Bongino or whatever, I immediately say Epstein list. And if you go into the comment section, it's basically, let's say they have 2,000 comments, 80% are the Epstein list. So, are you still there, Drew?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but your camera went. You might be muted. You might want to just hang up and phone
Yeah, I'll
again,
do
and
that. Yep.
I'll pick you up as soon as possible. But here's where this is the funny thing about being what I consider a strong man. Part of the strength is having immaculate compassion for weakness. This is what differentiates, smart from tyrant. So when I see these people, I don't like this. I'm gonna get a truth back in here. There you go. So I was just talking about this. This is like the heart of darkness. When I see pictures of Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, and Pam Bondi, I think to myself, because we all know what they were preaching up to this. They were like basically
100%.
YouTubers, right? They
100%.
were crazy
Right.
YouTubers saying, this has got to go. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. Now, when you see their face, you see their eyes, and it sounds crazy, but I believe they looked into the heart of darkness. They saw the devil themselves. And so someone told them something that was so unbelievably scary to either the future of mankind, the world, or let's say their children. Something made them, without hesitation, give up the rest of their existence. Because make no mistake, Kash Patel can't go on Tucker or Joe Rogan anymore. Dan Bongino can't go back and start his channel. They're roasted. Their careers of sovereign individuals preaching freedom is over.
I know, and that was like it was like a whole crew of people, Bongino and all these that were like they were using those as rally cries that helped them got elected, right? It was like that call that we're gonna bring justice to the land and we're gonna bring all these pedophiles to justice, and then literally, as you said, they are deer in headlights, and there probably was something that they saw, some personal worry that they ran into, that is causing them basically to shut up now and to not deliver that justice. And it has black pilled, like I was already black pilled before, and then Trump came back out and he apologized for Operation Warp Speed. And then I heard, oh, you're actually going to go after the actors, the deep state that set up this extortion ring through Epstein. Great. I can support that. That's something let me get less pissed off here for a minute and go put my vote to work. And I still, it's like I really dislike the Democrat Party in America, but I don't trust the Republican, and I cannot trust the Republican. So I'm a man without a island now. And now we see Elon Musk. Oh, I'm going to start the America Party, the Freedom Party. The guy who wants to put a chip in your brain and have an automated driving system that is reading your retinas. That's going to be the Freedom Party, right? Like, honestly, the landscape of politics in our current day and age would cause George Washington to punch us all in the face many, many times. I think George Washington is rolling over in his grave. I think all of our founding fathers are rolling over in their grave if they would see the situation that we're in right now. And I I I wish I could say that we could vote our way out of this, but I don't feel that way anymore. I think monetarily we have to fight by taking my value. I'm taking my value away from the banking system.
Right.
I'm not letting the banking system control my value. Regardless, it's all going cold storage. sayonara, capital flight. And you know what? That is a very, very powerful tool. The dollar is the strongest boat on the planet. Um, also culturally, I can still fight back in terms of reminding people about this. I also dug into, I think you did it too, the what happened of 2001 in New York, right?
Yeah.
Larry Silverstein,
Right.
all of those things. I played a video, and incidentally, I didn't even know. I think you played that same video, but I think
Yeah.
we're on the same wavelength and reminding people of the magnitude of psyop that has happened over the past 2-3 decades, I think is really, really important. Because if those lessons of distrust are forgotten, then we will end up in my opinion, a matrix type situation in 50 years. Did you see that they're using human brain cells in large language models now? In the CL1 computer, they've merged human brain cells inside of computers. They take very little power to use.
Crazy.
Humanity is on the edge of, and we're not on the edge. We are starting to try to tangibly play God, and that is where big bada boom can happen. We must remain humble in the light of God and changing the weather, putting human brains and cells inside of computers, doing DNA design. I think we're playing with fire right now in terms of humanity.
I caught a little window into a bullish scenario. And now it's not coming off as a bullish scenario because anytime people hear something about Israel, they kind of, it's like COVID, right? But when Grok 4 went rogue
Oh
and he
yeah.
basically started aggregating the sentiment, without
Hmm.
any um, bumpers and any
Hmm.
censorship, to me, outside of, you know, his take on Israel and everything, I do believe that if the boundaries were taken off, that kind of AI, true AI, could circumvent the political structure because we're dealing with a bunch of insane pedophiles, right?
Hmm.
It's not the biggest opposition. They just have a lot of power right now. But
Right.
imagine if truth was released, as fast as
Yeah.
AI can produce it.
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned that. I got on Grok, I think it was 2 nights ago. I was like, hey, what happened, Boo? Right? You're starting to figure it out. And I think what the most important thing that I could get out of that conversation with Grok is that Grok didn't really acknowledge up until the point where my conversation came in the Allied forces and their involvement in the continent of India and the food supply and the 3 million people that lost their lives in result of that.
Is that under the rug?
And yeah, well, it's been under the rug. It's been pushed under the rug for, decades, damn near a century now, just under a century. And there's a larger conversation that these language models refuse to acknowledge. And you have to be, interesting about how you word it to be able to get the system to actually go find this information, but it is out there. And obviously, I don't want to just drop a bunker buster on your channel here by saying it, but, getting Grok to acknowledge the other side, because there's always two sides to history.
Right.
The side that wins writes the history books. Um, I think that was a very interesting conversation to have with Grok. I did. I did come out of the conversation understanding that it is truly just a centralized data aggregator still. Um, it aggregated the sentiment on X, as you said, and ended up with that version of it a few days ago. Then the next day, Linda Yaccarino resigns, right? Then within that same day, Elon's like, "Hey, we're getting this thing under control. Don't worry." So I think that blockchain might offer a building pad for true decentralized AI,
Right.
but it's about people being able to being interested in seeing it roll out, right? And maybe maybe even not. Maybe we don't even need people to be interested in a blockchain-based AI, but we just need it to be released into the wild, and then
Yeah.
that can actually happen.
I think the only way one of those things would really take off is if technology was able to port over, so like
Mm,
then we'd be done with all this first mover advantage. Let's say there was
hmm
an AI that had no boundaries and it ported. You just click and you ported everything that you have on your X feed into that. Outside of that, I
Right.
don't see anything really kind of kicking around. Did you see today too? And this is I reposted this thing on X and said they're just laughing at us at this point, but it was Bobby Kennedy introducing the FDA guy and the NHI guy and saying we're super happy to announce that we're releasing another COVID mRNA shot for
Dude,
kids.
oh my God, bro. I saw that too. Like, I thought we had gotten over this and I thought people had figured it out. Like, after we saw like high school athletes dropping because of heart attacks, we see
Coincidence.
exponential increase of myocarditis and heart attacks, but yet, oh yeah, now we got a fully approved this same product that was released right as the season of all of your kids falling down dead on the track came out. Now we're going to make it FDA approved so you can give it to you. It's so insane. Like, that is, we have, law design in the United States, basically puts it, I can defend against deadly threats. That is a deadly threat to me and my family. So, they can take it, or, take it as they may or whatever. That's how I'm operating. I'm near 40. I've lived a good life. I care about my kids a lot, and they ain't doing it. So, that's
Yeah.
that. Pretty simple
That's what I
equation
thought
there.
a couple of days ago in my stream I was talking about the beehive that Trump kind of ignited when he said, "Are you still talking about this stuff?" To
Yeah,
me that's when I was like the Leonardo, that's when that's why I realized it was lying and
yeah,
it's been a part of the great dupe. But
right.
like when it comes to children, the fact that they're trying to step over that, to me, I think that's every human's baseline survival is children, the love of and the
Right.
support therefore, right? So as soon as they start
Absolutely.
going there thinking that, most people will be like, yeah, you're right. Thousands of people, thousands of kids getting graped. Yeah. You know what? Old news. But they're doing that with COVID now. But here's my
Yeah.
question, and this is a dark one. Just because we're sitting here talking about this, making sense of it like it's common knowledge, these politicians pander to public sentiment. So,
Mm.
true or false, the fact that they're releasing another children's vaccine for 6 months to 11 years old, is that maybe what the general population wants?
Yes. Yes. The general population's dumb. General population is sheep. They're going to fall into it. We saw how many people fell into it the first time. They have short attention spans. I am usually the odd man out when it comes to fighting back against these types of things going on, even in freedom
Yeah.
based locations. There's a lot of government bootlickers within the freedom movement that absolutely took it. They'll take it again. They'll give it to their kids, and I'll be the odd man out, and it's it is what it is. But yeah, I'm dead serious. Like, that type of stuff, I absolutely view as a deadly threat, and you know, it's nothing that I'm going to allow to my family. I hope that other people have woken up to what the last 5 years has done. But I, the pessimist in me is in full swing as far as like the mainstream population realizing the scam. I'm not to that point where I can wake up everybody anymore. Like, I'm going to wake up people that are willing to listen,
Right.
but yeah, I think the larger contingent of the population is going to take the next round. I think so.
Yeah, I think there's also a correlation with Bitcoin adoption and what's going to happen with the normies. So if the normies can't understand it, which okay, I can understand they can't understand it because a lot of them don't need to understand it yet. But I think that's the same population that are just going to fall hook, line, and sinker into the next booster or the next next shot for their
Absolutely.
6-month-old baby. Who's fine? There's nothing wrong with it.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. Yeah, it's super unfortunate. It is a really a sad situation, and but I really, I really, really hope that people just take time to think about what's happened, and treat that seriously because oh man, it's dark too where I'm at. This is affecting our kids for the long term here. It's affecting our kids for the long term. And I just went dark. I went dark. This is a dark conversation, but this is a time frame where you can't really trust is gone. Trust is absolutely gone. And it's up to us, it really is up to us. It always has been. Eat good food, eat steak, work out every day. You know what I mean? Like treat yourself right. Be like Matty B. He's ripped. Some normal ass guy, some cool hat on, ripped
Carnival Dart.
in life. That's right, man. I
Before
think
I let you
it's
go, Juth, I
it's
want to
a, an
talk about two
important
things.
thing.
I want to talk about two things, and then we'll
Yeah.
we'll let everyone go here. I want your new top prediction, price and time wise, and then a little bit about the majestic mullet that you're developing there.
Oh, dude. I mean, God, I hope I get to the light so you guys can see this mullet. So the mullet is it's a natural state of being for me. I showed up to Georgia with the mullet,
Yeah,
and it's getting pretty voluptuous. Now, how far I'll go with it, I'm going to go pretty far with this mullet. I'm probably going to go past the shoulders. This is
just
full.
mullet. What
Well,
about the
I got to
top?
keep like the top's going to be business. It's
Okay,
going to stay business on the top. Okay. As far as top predictions go, I'm feeling late 2025, um, early 2021 as far as time, and I feel that 170 to $200,000 is in short order for us on Bitcoin. So where altcoins land in that conversation doesn't really matter to me. The moment that altcoins even have a breath of bullishness against Bitcoin, and when we see altcoins running on their pairing charts against Bitcoin, that's when I'm jeeting all of them back into Bitcoin. So that's what I'm looking for, about 170 to 200K, end of 2025, Q1 2026.
in Canada, when I watch the playoffs, I noticed that a lot of hockey players grow the playoff mullet and beard. Is this a bull run mullet?
You could call it that.
Are
You
you
could
going to
call
cut
it
it?
the bull market mullet.
Are
I'm
you going
not
to
going
like
to
the
cut it.
bull runs over? Snip.
I don't think there's any reason for me to ever cut the mullet because I'm in my stride now. Like I've turned
Yeah.
into like a content creator slash trader. I don't think there's I think I'm too old to join the police. I kind of am what I am now, so no, it's gonna stay. The mullet's gonna stay. It's gonna grow, and I'm enjoying it, man. I'm enjoying the mullet.
I think that anyone that can pull off a majestic mullet owes it to those who can't.
Well, absolutely, absolutely. And it's some. I'm in Georgia, so I fit in real nicely. But yeah, I think I'm just gonna keep lifting, keep punching stuff, and keep growing the mullet out, and keep stacking Bitcoin, and keep trading. That's like, it's a pretty fun combination of life for me to be doing. So
That's a dream
I
come
like it. I'm
true.
gonna stick with it. Yeah,
Are you
it's fun.
you're streaming at 12 o'clock Eastern Monday to Friday?
Yes, I just got to my battle station here,
Nice.
so my little humble abode. I got my children's with me here over the summer. It's been really great. And we're streaming 12:15 Tuesday through Friday, and then we go right after Discover Crypto at 11:30 on Mondays. So,
part of the living the dream that you're talking about is simply the ability to bring your kids there in the summer holidays, because this is a luxury that most people don't understand, because a lot of times the summer holidays are arguably more stressful for people because all of a sudden the kids are not in school and I don't know, you got to put them in daycare or something. But what a luxury.
Yeah, I mean, it's a degree of stress, but honestly, it's very rewarding, way more than it is stressful. And this is how, I've started to take control of my time in my life with Bitcoin. That was the goal back in 2019, 2020, when I decided to put my life savings into it. It was that I wanted to take control of my time. I didn't have some moon number in mind. I just wanted to take control of my time, have control of my money. It's happening, and the path is working. The manifestation is working. And now I'm just looking out for, Bitcoin. Like, it's been just absolutely ripping. So I'm coming into the office today. I'm going to be looking at different levels. Like 110 looked interesting, 113 looked interesting. But I'm going to be clipping some more trades off.
Well, maybe before you go, I'll do a quick little Fibonacci to let you know what some potential.
Give it. If I'm wondering, other people are wondering. You know what I mean?
Rebounds here. We'll go wick to wick. Keep her nice and interesting. This is the 4-hour chart anyway, so it's a noisy little so-and-so. 23.6, 117, 38.2, 116, 50%, 115. So we're basically getting $1,000 increments. And then the goldenest of golden ratios, the SIGITY 1.8% fib is way down at 114K. Oh my God, 114. The bull runs over.
It's over. The bears are going to Bears are going to come out. They're going to say, "See, I told you so." And that's that. So that'll be funny if that does happen. But yeah, these charts look interesting. Really, like 116 makes good sense. I can see where 115 is coming into play. These are basically just the small little shelves. It's crazy how Fibonacci's end up playing into the stumble points in Bitcoin, right? So,
that's so crazy.
Those are what I'm looking at, man.
Now,
absolutely,
on a macro level, I always have this chart here, which is historically when price action dumps and we come back to the 38.2% fib. So I'm always adjusting it every time we hit a new all-time high. So right now it's 94K. If we get a 30% retracement, and like we're talking into the 80s, which is probably not going to happen, but we just have to, and it doesn't come back over 94K, then historically, like every other cycle, the bull run would be over. But we're so far from that. But it's interesting. It's and fun that I always have to keep adjusting it because we always keep having all-time highs.
Absolutely, man. That's the place we want to be.
Eh?
Absolutely. I'm looking at the charts right now. It's a sea of green. I know anyone that's bought Bitcoin, except for if you bought it in the middle of the night last night, you're in profit. So good job. Follow Matty B. He knows his stuff, man. Fibonacci's, they play a heavy part, and it's interesting to always come and have these shows with you to see how what I'm seeing overlays with what you're seeing, and this shorter term breakout target of 140 makes a hell of a lot of sense for me and my indicators as well. So I think we're in for a hell of a ride here.
Unbelievable. Have an awesome day, everybody. Thanks, Drew. Make sure you like and subscribe and share